Good afternoon and welcome to the 1 o'clock tee time at Ruff's Golf Club and the Ruff's Annual Golf Classic. This is the Tournament Flight Championship. The field is down to two. Jack McGee, first-year competitor here at Ruff's at 18 under par. Dan Gallagher at 15 under par, a two-time runner-up in the Tournament Flight Championship. Is today his day? By virtue of his three-stroke lead, Jack McGee has the tee. On the par 4 first, from the balcony to the pin on the right, 45 yards away. McGee, a little runner. That'll run up towards the front portion of the green. Good shot by McGee. Fellow Ruff's competitor Kevin Quinn chirping every step of the way in Jack McGee's ear. No surprise there. Dan Gallagher's shot is high and lands just short of the green. Good shots to start off, and both of them will have looks from right off the front to put themselves in kick-in range for birdie. Dan Gallagher, this is a special weekend for him in many ways. Of course, we mentioned the two-time runner-up in the sportsmanship flight. We've only been flighting this for 2 years. He's also expecting a child this weekend, and certainly harkens back to shades of the PGA Tour, who Phil Mickelson has finished 6 times the runner-up, but back in 1999, he was just getting started on his runs of runners-up at the U.S. Open. Could this be his day in the sun, or could Jack McGee be the Payne Stewart of this golf tournament? Good shot there by McGee. And, of course, God rest Payne's soul. One of the best golfers of our time, Dan Gallagher. A good shot there. He'll have that comebacker for birdie. It'll be Gallagher to putt first, coming from behind the hole. That one stays to the left of the pin. And he's in for par. He stays at 15 under for the championship. Jack McGee, a opening hole birdie, goes to 19 under par and has a 4-stroke lead on Dan Gallagher. We'll take you now to the par 4 second. You can see Jack McGee right at the front part of your screen there, in between the siding of the house, just to the left of there, and to the right of the wood beam coming straight down from the patio. And I did not see that one at all off the club from Jack McGee. He has a 4-stroke lead. Now Gallagher on the tee box. They're hitting off a mat that you'd see at the driving range, for example, right on that side of the property. Gallagher hits a tree, bounces right. That won't be too difficult to deal with from there. He's going to have to pitch it over the bush, right in front of the water hazard, and onto the green. And again, we didn't see Jack McGee's off the club. But if where he's looking is any indication, he may be in trouble. Dan Gallagher, by virtue of that free drop, brings it onto this property. Has his second. And McGee is looking in the bush. So he's in trouble here on the par 4 second. So Gallagher will wait this one out, it appears. as McGee scrambles to find his ball. Perhaps he's located it underneath that bush, so that'll be a drop, most likely for Jack McGee. Here's Gallagher with his second. That's a pretty good shot from Dan Gallagher. That'll caress right down by the shed, the part of the green that's been beaten down over the course of the weekend, so it'll be a little bit easier to get at that pin and get it rolling towards the hole. So I don't know if that is a drop for Jack McGee or not. Nonetheless, a pretty good shot, and he and Dan will shoot from the same portion of the green. They'll have putts upcoming. Dan Gallagher's birdie putt runs right by the hole. He'll tap in for par. Jack McGee punched it through the bush, and then you saw his third shot where he kind of had to straddle the smaller bush. So he's lying 3, putting 4, 1 under on the round. That one didn't come out well. This now for bogey. And that one won't go down either. That's a double bogey 6 for Jack McGee. He falls to 17 under par. Dan Gallagher with a par on the par 4 second is at 15 under, 2 strokes back. We'll take you now to the par 3 third. 17 yards away. Right across the water hazard. The guys at the top of this flight have not had much difficulty with this one here, but of course it always does loom, the water hazard in front. Dan Gallagher will tee off first. Good shot there by Dan Gallagher. He'll be 3 feet straight at the hole for his birdie. Jack McGee tried to go with the bank off the shed. We'll have that coming back towards the hole. Didn't get a ton of kick. And Dan Gallagher has cut what was a 3-stroke deficit to a 2-stroke deficit through just 2 holes. And so an opportunity now, as Gallagher has essentially a kick-in birdie. McGee a makeable birdie as well here on the par 3 third. McGee's birdie putt comes up a little bit short. And that one does fall. Par for Jack McGee. And it's a birdie, too, emphatically, for Dan Gallagher. He moves to 16 under par. Jack McGee sits at 17 under par. The par 4 fourth, Dan Gallagher pops it high in the air. Jack McGee still has a one-stroke lead. The par 4 fourth. They'll play this hole as they have the last three, and the rest of the front nine to this pin on the right. Great shot there from Jack McGee. Puts it just north of pin high. He'll have that for eagle. Gallagher left his a bit short. He'll pitch it onto the front of the green and try to have it run to the pin. And Gallagher flubbed the chip that time. Jack McGee looks primed to open up his lead here on the fourth. Gallagher runs it towards the pin, and that one goes down. What a birdie from off the green for Dan Gallagher. And for the time being is all square at 17 under with Jack McGee, but McGee with an eagle putt. And he puts that one down. So Jack McGee gets back to 19 under par, avenges the double bogey on the par 4 second, and takes a two-stroke lead heading to the par 4 fifth. This tee box has gotten chewed up over the course of the weekend. Big shout out to Seamus Morgan and Alex Krastowski. That one skips once in the rough, bounces forward another 10 yards, and he'll have about 20 yards to get to the green. Dan Gallagher now. Pops that one high. That's going to find the cabbage. And he'll have about 25 yards to get to the green. A good round thus far. Dan Gallagher 2 under par. Jack McGee 1 under par. McGee with a two-stroke lead. Dan Gallagher could get that phone call at any time to have to leave the golf course with the pending birth of his child. But his focus has to be singular at this point. And it has to be on winning his first tournament flight title here at Ruffs. McGee, here's his second. And that one took a kick to the right. Not a bad shot from McGee. I think just kind of one of those rub of the green things where it got caught up. Gallagher, his third after a miracle birdie on the last. Could he replicate that here? That's running right at the pins. Got a shot. And it just doesn't go down. It rolled around the cup. 270 degrees. And it just wouldn't fall. Dan Gallagher will tap in for birdie. I'm sorry, make that par for him. The birdie look from off the green almost went down. This a birdie putt for Jack McGee. Jack McGee, a little bit too strong on that one. He taps in for par. And they stay at their respective scores. Dan Gallagher trails by 2 strokes, heading now to the par 4 sixth. Here's Jack McGee. That's a really good shot from McGee. Rolling right at the pin. Came up a little bit short, but he'll have that left for eagle. Dan Gallagher checks his phone, and everybody holds their collective breath. It's not the call. He plays on. That one will just move past the end of the long stuff. Jack McGee in prime position. Great shot there from Dan Gallagher. He'll have that left for his birdie. Jack McGee, though, lies there in one and can put in an eagle with this from about 10 feet away. Jack McGee, he caught a piece of the cup there as well. He'll tap it in for birdie. Jack McGee is up to 20 under par, and Dan Gallagher needs to make this putt to keep pace and stay just 2 down. He's been on with the putter thus far this weekend. Can he keep it going? He can on that one. Rolls around and goes down. Dan Gallagher up to 18 under par for the weekend. Jack McGee holds steady with a birdie of his own. He's at 20 under par, and we head to the par 4 7th. The par 4 7th is very similar to the third tee box, but much deeper into the woods. There's really no angle to get directly at the pin unless you want to fly it over some branches, which really brings the hazard into play. It could ricochet backwards. It could go, in theory, far enough right to go out of bounds past the creek in the woods directly behind the property. It's a difficult hole. It's a hole where you can play it conservative and very respectably grab your par with some ease. But you can also go right at that pin and have a pretty good look for eagle if you do it right. Let's see what Jack McGee does. First on the tee with honors and the 2-stroke lead. He went right through the trees and it almost went in the hole. Boy, any one of those branches could have grasped that golf ball. He elected to go right through it or perhaps caught it a little bit thin. But boy, was he rewarded. It nearly dropped for him, and he has a great eagle putt coming up. Here's Dan Gallagher. He needs to answer. And that one was skidded low and I think went into the hazard. So perhaps with a decision to make, he's made it. He's taken the unplayable. He's going to re-tee. Dan Gallagher with his third. That one does just barely make it across the bank. And he'll have that remaining for his par. Jack McGee in a great spot. 2-stroke lead. That eagle putt upcoming. Here's Dan Gallagher now with his fourth. Runs it at the hole, looking for a kick coming back, and that won't be easy coming up for his bogey. Jack McGee for his eagle. Left that one a bit short. And he taps it in for birdie, heads to 21 under par. Dan Gallagher for bogey. And that one goes in. What a huge putt that was from Dan Gallagher. The bogey drops him only to 17 under par, and it's a 4-shot lead for Jack McGee, but that could have been much worse. The putter has continued to deliver for Dan Gallagher this weekend. So now the par 3 8th, 19 yards away. 3 plays here. You can go in front of the shed as you see it. You can go through the Sportsmanship back alley, termed last year by one Brandon Culp. And you can also go over the shed, perhaps get a kick straight down from one of those branches that protrude right over the top, and it can drop right next to the hole. That's certainly the risky play. Jack McGee, I think, feeling conservative, and goes along the Sportsmanship back alley. That's a great shot. He'll have that left for his birdie. Here's Dan Gallagher. Gallagher plays back into the Sportsmanship back alley as well. That's a pretty good shot. Birdie putt's upcoming for our 2 finalists here in the the tournament flight. Sportsmanship flight was won by Brandon Culp just hours ago. Jack McGee for birdie. Runs that one well by the hole. That won't be easy coming back for par. Dan Gallagher for birdie. That one comes right towards the hole, and that should be a kick-in par. And it's par for Dan Gallagher. Jack McGee to match. That one slides just by on the left. Jack McGee with a 4 on the par 3 8. Dan Gallagher with a par. And he is now 3 back. Jack McGee has come in his very first roughs in the tournament flight and absolutely played exquisite golf. So rare is it for someone that has come here for the first time to be so in tune with the contours of the golf course and how to manage the course that you have. And Jack McGee has done a great job of that. But it's Dan Gallagher to tee off first here on the par 4 9th. Got to go over or through the batting cage. We have Jack McGee at 20 under par, Dan Gallagher at 17 under par, 3-stroke lead for McGee. Gallagher, what a great shot that will be as that eludes the rough and is right in front of the green. What's the play here for Jack McGee? He's got a 7-iron in his hand. Tried to rocket that one through it. Caught one of those double-paned portions of the batting cage. And he'll be just outside the cage of death. You might even call this a near-death experience for him. Heading to the flag on the right, the final hole of the front 9 where they'll be attacking that hole. Then they'll switch gears and go to the left. McGee's shot has to get down, and that will. Pretty good shot there. A little bit long of the hole. He'll have that upcoming for his birdie. Dan Gallagher, if he can put this one tight or even put it into the hole, would put a lot of pressure on Jack McGee. Gallagher will play first, his second, on the par 4 ninth. Dan Gallagher blows that one by. There is less grass back behind the hole. Perhaps he was looking for an opportunity to putt essentially back up the hill. McGee for birdie. Nearly drops it. He'll have that left for his par. He'll finish first. And Jack McGee is through the front 9 in 2 under 32. Dan Gallagher for birdie. That one almost went down. Dan Gallagher in for par as well. Gallagher with 32 through the front as well. And Jack McGee's lead, as it was when this 4th and final round started, is at 3 strokes. We're now going to take you to the tee box here on the par 4 10th. A good crowd here. Seamus Morgan, Alice Krastowski, Brandon Culp, all dressed in the Ruff's burnt orange and of the Sportsmanship Flight. Kevin Quinn here as well. Kevin Quinn will be coming into your living room screen shortly as a member of the final foursome of the championship flight. And this, one of the great holes in all of golf and one of the newest holes in all of golf. The new deck here at Ruff's Golf Club, without the posts and railings installed yet. Well, that's a driving range bay if I've ever seen one. A tee box placed on the top. And this has been unbelievable. The sight of a hole-in-one earlier from Kyle Martin at 7 o'clock sharp in the morning. 2 hops and down it went for Kyle Martin. That was on the par 4 first. This, they'll be heading to the pin on the left, the par 4 10th, 45 yards away. Jack McGee going to need a hop. And it's into the depression, as so many have gone this weekend. A good shot from McGee. That one's got to get down for Gallagher, and it may have landed softly back there in the hazard. Make that penalty area. This is 2019. Has to be repeated as Dan Gallagher approaches his ball. What he's got to be going through right now mentally, knowing that his first child is on the way and that call could come at any time. And, he could be on the 18th tee and he's out of here, heading to that special time with he and his wife, Helen. We wish them the best. But as he is now in this final group of the tournament flight for the 3rd time in a row, and I think that he tried one from back there and it didn't go well. This, I believe, is his 3rd. That's pretty good to get that out of there. Comes about hole high. Dan Gallagher will have that putt. Perhaps he didn't actually take a hit before. Let's just say that's for birdie. We didn't have a camera down in that end of the property. Jack McGee nearly drops it for his eagle. He'll have that left for birdie. Jack McGee, a birdie 3, and moves to 3 under on the day, minus 21 on the championship. Dan Gallagher, a big putt here. They're all big down the stretch. Somehow, that one does not fall for him. And we head now to the par 4 11th. Make this par 5 11th, the one par 5 on the course, 51 yards away. Jack McGee will tee off first. Directly to the left of that siding as he lets one go. That hits a couple of trees and ends up in the midst of the forest. And this is where trouble can start on this hole. Dan Gallagher, a window of opportunity as he tries to thread the needle between these trees. How aggressive will he get? He goes high. And I didn't see where it came down. That one, I think, went behind where the initial tee box was. If there is any hope here, it's simply that he has a better angle now to punch this through the trees and all the way to the green. Dan Gallagher, not on screen, deep in the woods. His second. And just floats that one out to the middle of the fairway. A very good shot that time from Dan Gallagher. Jack McGee, still a lot of traffic to get through. And he dribbles that again out to the fairway. Both players lying to in the middle of the fairway. A third shot coming into the green. A strong play from both players after the first shot was troublesome for both. Dan Gallagher standing over his ball. Trailing by 4 strokes at -17. Needs a big kick there. That comes just shy of the front of the green. He'll have to go up and down for par. Jack McGee, how aggressive does he get here? Shed should not be an impediment for his clear line of sight to the pin. That looks really good, and it checked right up on the spot. And it shows you how difficult this green is. It can either fire back towards the woods or it can stop on a dime. That depression in front has made the area surrounding it very difficult to contend with. Here's Dan Gallagher. This is his 4th on the par 5 11th. That doesn't quite release enough. Another knee knocker coming up for Dan Gallagher. By and large, he's been tremendous from that range this weekend, and he'll need it to at least keep pace. And Jack has an opportunity to pick up a stroke here with a birdie putt. Jack McGee, again, so close. Another tap in par. Easy does it for him as he stays at 21 under. And the pressure is on Dan to match here with his par putt. Dan Gallagher does indeed match. He's been great from that distance all weekend long. And Jack McGee maintains his 4-shot lead. Let's see what Jack McGee does, aided by the 4-stroke cushion. And he takes that very conservatively, a great shot. He'll have that left for eagle from just off the front of the green. Dan Gallagher, decision time. He's been putting everything in the air here this weekend. Is he going to trust that ball flight? Try to place it over the top of the shed? When is go time? Down by 4 on the 12th. And that one caught a branch. I don't think it was going to get over the shed anyway. Gallagher in trouble on this one. Here's Gallagher, his second. He's got another decision Does he go over the shed? Boy, he's looking up at it. I think he should just go around at this point. It looks like that is indeed what he will do. Pretty good shot there. That'll leave him a decent birdie attempt from off the front of the green. McGee runs that right up to the front of the pin. Just a foot or two left for his birdie. And he finishes 22 under par. Dan Gallagher to match. Doesn't quite get it to the hole. He'll have that left for par. And it is a 5-shot lead for Jack McGee heading to the par 4 13th. This is a gettable hole. Flat tee box, off the grass, direct line to the pin. There have been 2 holes in 1 on this hole in the history of roughs. Could this be one where Dan Gallagher finds magic in the bottle and can come up with a big one on this hole, the par 4 13th? And there he is, the man of the hour, Dan Gallagher. Checking his phone, and he remains for now. And there's Brandon Culp and Seamus Morgan lying like a bunch of seals on the... It's a good shot there from Jack McGee as well. Here's Gallagher. Needs a big shot here. Gallagher goes high with this one. That will land in the depression area, and he'll have that shot coming up. Jack McGee and Dan Gallagher, a battle of epic proportions. Jack McGee, I believe, will play first with his ball in Dan's way. And the first-year competitor here at Ruffs closing in on a tournament flight title. This will be a birdie. And he's now to 23 under par. This is 6 ahead of Dan Gallagher. And Gallagher will have that left for his birdie. Gallagher gets it to go. Big birdie putt there. Keeps him in it. He's at 18 under par. Jack McGee at 23 under par. Great shot by Jack McGee. Needs a kick and gets it. That's about 10 feet away, directly in front of the hole. Front portion of the green, pretty straight putt from there. And that's for eagle. Gallagher gets that one through the cage and onto the left-hand side of the depression. Pretty good angle coming into the pin from there. He'll have that for eagle. Gallagher to play first. This view will come through the batting cage. Goes high with it, expects a release. It doesn't quite come. He was asking for it to go. Jack McGee for his eagle. And to go to 25 under par. And that's another tap-in birdie for Jack McGee. Ho-hum, he's 4 under par here on the back nine. Gallagher gets his birdie putt to go and matches for now. He is now 5 back as they head to the par 4 15th. McGee a 5-stroke lead with 4 holes to play. Getting to crunch time here. Dan Gallagher twice in a row, the tournament flight runner-up. People were saying this was his time. People were saying he would get over the hump this year. But it's going to take a massive free fall from Jack McGee for that to happen, and he has not shown a sign all weekend of breaking. That's another really good shot. That's going to get caught up in the depression, but that's where you want to miss with a 5-stroke lead and 4 to play. Here's Dan Gallagher. Got to stick this tight. And that one rocketed into the woods. And we shall see. Gallagher considering whether to hit a provisional. He could still go down there and identify his golf ball short of or into the water. As long as it's not over that bank of the creek, he can take the drop outside the hazard. And that one finds its way just past the edge of the rough into the area right before the green, but now the search is on for his golf ball. All he has to do is identify it, and then he'll have the opportunity to drop outside the hazard, dropping 3, which would give him a look at the green through the sportsmanship back alley and could salvage this 15th hole for him. You see McGee, Dan Gallagher is deeper into the woods. And McGee has abandoned the search. That may mean that they've found it. Dan can drop on the line that he went in to the hazard. But it looks like he's either been unable to identify it or identified it as being in an out-of-bounds position. So now he's lying 3, and this will be his 4th. This for par. That one blown by the hole, heading back towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Jack McGee. He could all but end it here. And that, too much from Jack McGee. We have one and one only champion here thus far this weekend. It's Brandon Culp, and he says this is where you want to be on the golf course. This is where you want to putt from. Take that as you will. Dan Gallagher misses that putt. He has that coming back for double bogey. This for birdie for Jack McGee. That one stayed straight. It looked like Gallagher's twisted to the left. McGee played that break. It didn't come back, but a par for Jack McGee. He stays at 24 under par. Dan Gallagher in for double bogey. Drops to 17 under par. And it's a 7-shot lead for Jack McGee in the Tournament Flight Championship here at Ruff's Golf Club, heading to the par 4 16th. Here's Dan Gallagher. Jack McGee in a great spot. Gallagher puts it in front. The two competitors come into your screen now. Dan Gallagher, Jack McGee. Great rounds by these two Philadelphia Catholic League graduates. Dan Gallagher of Bishop McDevitt. Jack McGee of LaSalle College High School. Both of them to take their second. And Dan Gallagher puts his second right in front. Pretty good shot there. He'll have that left for birdie. And we welcome Seamus Morgan into the booth. Seamus, how are you?
Bobby Long, doing pretty good. Just enjoying the view out here today. Some good competition. Brandon Culp taking the first one. Testing.
Oh, you're on. We got you, my man.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Jack McGee for birdie. Left that one a bit short. And that's in for par. He stays at 24 under. Dan Gallagher for his birdie. Gallagher can't get it to fall. He's in for par as well. He stays at 17 under with McGee at 24 under par.
That's Russ for you right there, as Alex Krastowski would say.
What do you think about these two competitors? What do you think about the tournament flight in general that we saw this year?
I think that's a good question. I really don't
Those
know
are the
what
only
to
ones
think
I
about
asked.
it. I know. I'd say it's been a wide open competition. Dan Gallagher, really, a two-time runner-up, as you say. I just seeing if he can break the curse, kind of get over that little hump, or is he gonna be clutch this time? That's the big question. Can he come through? As a father, we need him to come through.
We need.
All right.
We shall see. A
This is his time to
seven-stroke.
shine. I'm sure he'll do great.
All right. It's a 7-stroke deficit with 2 to play. But all I can do is put himself in a position and see if Jack falters under pressure. Jack did hit a good shot on the par 3 17th. Gallagher looking like he wants to go over. He can get it into the air pretty well with that wedge, and that's a great shot.
There it is. It's over.
Good shot from Dan Gallagher. He'll have that left from about 12 feet away for his birdie.
Love the strategic play right there.
Absolutely. We nearly had a situation with some headphones. Seamus, glad all is okay there.
Thank you. You really got to watch yourself back here in the studio booth,
That's the one.
You got wires, plants, studio deck.
Jack McGee put that one in front. He's got that left for par. Dan Gallagher for birdie. Rolls it towards the cup. And it won't go down. There's been a few of those for him today. Tapping in for par. Stays at 17 under par.
Tap-a-roo.
Jack McGee makes his par. And they go to the final hole of play. Jack McGee, a 7-stroke lead over Dan Gallagher. And it is a coronation of a first-time competitor.
Oh, it's that big of a lead difference? Oh.
Technically not over yet.
All right. Congratulations, Jack McGee.
Here's Jack McGee. His 72nd tee shot of the weekend here at Ruffs. That one's into the cage of death. Not going to hurt him there. Just need to keep away from the left side, which is out of bounds. The hazard. What a shot from Dan Gallagher. That'll land on the green. Got it up high, and a beautiful shot by Gallagher on his final hole of the weekend. Great shot there by Jack McGee. That will stay out of the penalty area. He'll have that left for birdie. Dan Gallagher with an eagle attempt coming up. Jack McGee, a 7-stroke lead coming into this final hole. Here's Gallagher for eagle. And Alex Krastowski has made his way onto the course. That's curious. I wonder what he has in store. Apparently what he has in store is making Dan Gallagher laugh and backing him off his putt. Jack McGee runs it right at the hole. Almost went in to end it with a birdie. Dan Gallagher left it short. This for birdie. Tremendous from Dan Gallagher. Great performance. 18 under par. Jack McGee. This for bogey. Taps in, and Jack McGee is your tournament flight champion here in 2019. A first-time competitor, and he did everything he could possibly ask, meticulously moving his way through roughs on a 72-hole basis. Unbelievable, and congratulations to Jack McGee. And congratulations also to Dan Gallagher, the third time in a row that he's finished runner-up in the tournament flight here at Roughs. And he is soon to be a father for the very first time. So excited for Dan. We appreciate his contributions to Roughs. One of 3 players at the Cup to earn all 3 points on the weekend. Congratulations to Dan Gallagher. And again, we thank him for all he's done for Roughs Golf Club over his many years. Stand by for a trophy presentation momentarily. All right, we have some hardware to dish out. First, it's our 2019 Roughs Annual Golf Classic Sportsmanship Flight Champion. Brandon Culp is your 2019 winner. Welcome in, Brandon Culp. Congratulations, Brandon.
Thank you. I've dreamed of this since last year. This is awesome.
So what have the last 365 days been like as you prepared for this opportunity?
I'll tell you what, a lot of it has been zero golf, other than the last probably month and a half. But it's really prepared me for this. Had a great first round. Second round, not so much, but enough to win the championship.
And that is all that matters. Congratulations. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your commitment to Roughs.
Thank you.
Could I get Alex Krastowski to bring me the tournament flight trophy? Now, before I give this out, we have a guy we want to talk to, and that's Dan Gallagher, the runner-up in the tournament flight. Dan, it's great, man. It's great. So, well documented. Our audience that was watching all around understood what was going on. You're waiting on a phone call. Your wonderful wife going into labor at some point over the next, you would say, week or so. Essentially, you were expecting at any given time. What was it like out there knowing that you were pursuing this dream of yours of winning the tournament flight championship while having that also in your mind?
There's a lot to think about, Bob, definitely. More relaxing on the golf course, a lot less stress. There's more important things going on at home, so it was easy to just go out there and play some golf. It was a great time. Thanks again for hosting us. Gracious as always, and had a lot of fun. Can't wait to be back next year.
Well, we appreciate that. And this is Dan Gallagher of the Cup lore with Ruffs, one of only 3 players on the Ruffs team to accumulate all 3 points at this year's Cup championship. So for those indelible and unbelievable contributions to Ruffs, you're always a champion in our book, and we hope the opportunity for you to raise one of these trophies real soon.
Thanks again, Bob. Appreciate it.
All right, congratulations to Dan Gallagher, 2nd place, and a newborn on the way.
Thank you.
And now it is time to hand over the trophy to a first-time competitor. And this guy just meticulously worked his way around the golf course, managed the course excellently. It's like he had been here with spotlights in years past, just playing in the dark, getting ready for this moment. I don't know how he knew the course so well, but your 2019 Tournament Flight Champion is Jack McGee. Jack, congratulations, man. That's for you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for making it out. So tell me, what felt good about this golf course to you?
I know the land a little bit. I hit on similar grass in my backyard as well, so it's a pure course and it plays true, so it's fun course.
What was it like playing with Dan Gallagher in that final round, a legend in rough circles?
Yeah, I mean, I just met Dan this past weekend and I already can tell he's a great guy, and it was great playing with him today. It was just like another Saturday, Sunday round with a good buddy, and congrats to Dan. He's a great guy and he's going to be a great father.
You know what this means, right? When you win a Tournament Flight Championship, the normal expectation is you move up to the next flight. How would you feel about that?
Right. I mean, I think I'm ready. I mean, I got to play with Bob Long and Kyle this morning and Kevin Quinn, and they're great players. So I think I got a little taste of what the next level is like. So we'll see. We'll see what next year has for me.
Good. Well, enjoy this one. This is a big honor. There's not a lot of these trophies out there. I mean, there are a select few group of folks that have been privileged to win these. So I hope you enjoy that one, cherish it, and we'll see you back here next year.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thanks.
Jack McGee, your 2019 Tournament Flight Champion here at Ruffs. Stay tuned for the championship flight final. Bob Long, Kevin Long, and of course Kyle Martin absolutely eviscerating the course. Let's see what he can do in round 4.